Hi, I'm Carol Ann Weaver from Body and Soul Companion. We're in part 2 of the spiritual exercises, and this is week 11, which is the call of the King. So we're looking at different aspects of Jesus. We're looking at how God is our King. So I invite you to look at John 10, and we're going to be doing an imaginative contemplation. John 10, 1 through 18. So go ahead and close your eyes. And pay attention to your breath. And on your exhale, relaxing your body. Paying attention, doing a body scan from the tips of your toes. Relaxing the feet into the floor. Your legs. Your torso. Your lower back. Your mid-back. Your upper back. Your shoulders and neck. And as we have physically settled down, I invite you to settle down your mind. Anything that might be distracting you today, person or situation, the busyness of life. Imagine giving all your cares over to God. Relax. Let go. And know that He is God. And go ahead and fix your gaze on God, knowing that He's looking upon you with love. Lord, we pray that more of our day would be directed to your service and praise. And we seek the grace to not be deaf to Christ's call, but prompt and eager to accomplish His will. John 10, 1 through 18. Truly, truly, I say to you, he who does not enter by the door into the fold of the sheep, but climbs up some other way, he is a thief and a robber. But he who enters by the door is a shepherd of the sheep. To him the doorkeeper opens, and the sheep hear his voice, and he calls his own sheep by name and leads them out. When he puts forth all his own, he goes ahead of them, and the sheep follow him because they know his voice. A stranger they simply will not follow, but will flee from him because they do not know the voice of strangers. This figure of speech Jesus spoke to them, but they did not understand that those things which he had been saying to them. So Jesus said to them again, Truly, truly, I say to you, I am the door of the sheep. All who came before me are thieves and robbers, but the sheep did not hear them. I am the door. If anyone enters through me, he will be saved and will go in and out and find pasture. The thief comes only to steal and kill and destroy. I came that they may have life and have it abundantly. I am the good shepherd. The good shepherd lays down his life for the sheep. He who is a hired hand and not a shepherd, who is not the owner of the sheep, sees the wolf coming and leaves the sheep and flees, and the wolf snatches them and scatters them. He flees because he is a hired hand and is not concerned about the sheep. I am the good shepherd, and I know my own, and my own know me. Even as the Father knows me, I know the Father. I lay down my life for the sheep. I have other sheep which are not of this fold. I must bring them also, and they will hear my voice, and they will become one flock with one shepherd. For this reason the Father loves me, because I lay down my life so that I may take it again. No one has taken it away from me, but I lay it down on my own initiative. I have authority to lay it down, and I have authority to take it up again. This commandment I received from my Father. So just go ahead and sit with that reading. Now I'm going to read it again. I'm going to read it in the Passion Version. Jesus said to the Pharisees, "Listen to this eternal truth. The person who sneaks over the wall to enter into the sheep's pen, rather than coming through the gate, reveals himself as a thief coming to steal. But the true shepherd walks right up to the gate, and because the gatekeeper knows who he is, he opens the gate to let him in. And the sheep recognize the voice of the true shepherd, for he calls his own by name and leads them out, for they belong to him. And when he has brought out all his sheep, he walks ahead of them, and they will follow him, for they are familiar with his voice. But they will run away from strangers and never follow them, because they know it's the voice of a stranger." Jesus told the Pharisees this parable, even though they didn't understand a word of what he meant. So Jesus went over it again. "I speak to you eternal truth. I am the gate for the flock. All those who broke in before me are thieves who came to steal, but the sheep never listened to them. I am the gateway. To enter through me is to experience life, freedom, and satisfaction. A thief has only one thing in mind. He wants to steal, slaughter, and destroy. But I have come to give you everything in abundance, more than you expect, life in its fullness until you overflow. I am the Good Shepherd who lays down my life as a sacrifice for the sheep. But the worker who serves only for wages is not a real shepherd, because he has no heart for the sheep. He will run away and abandon them when he sees the wolf coming, and then the wolf mauls the sheep, drags them off, and scatters them. I alone am the Good Shepherd, and I know those whose hearts are mine, for they recognize me and know me, just as my Father knows my heart, and I know my Father's heart. I am ready to give my life for the sheep. And I have other sheep that I will gather, which are not of this Jewish flock, and I, their shepherd, must lead them too, and they will follow me and listen to my voice, and I will join them all into one flock with one shepherd. The Father has an intense love for me because I freely give my own life to raise it up again. I surrender my own life, and no one has the power to take my life from me. I have the authority to lay it down and the power to take it back again. This is the destiny my Father has set before me. So try to visualize this in your mind. Jesus is talking to the Pharisees, but let's just envision the person sneaking over the wall. You're an observer in this scene. Maybe you want to take on the role of the sheep, or you can be an observer. The person sneaks over the wall. So imagine where you are. The wall is the sheep pen wall. Set yourself in the scene. What do you see? What do you hear? Probably the sheep. What do you smell? Maybe the smell of the sheep. Where are you in this scene as you see the thief crawl over the wall? And imagine him trying to steal a sheep and going back over the wall again. Then imagine a good shepherd, a true shepherd. What does he look like? See him walk right up to the gate and see the gatekeeper open the gate to let him in. Hear the shepherd say something to the sheep, and see the sheep recognize the voice of the shepherd and look at him, because he is the true shepherd. He calls them and they know him by name. see the shepherd bring out the sheep from the pen, walking ahead of them and bringing them out to the pasture, all the while talking to them, coaxing them. They follow the shepherd. They will run away from strangers and never follow them because they know when it's the voice of a stranger. Imagine the Pharisees, the perplexing looks on their faces, not really understanding what Jesus is saying. So imagine the gate again and the gatekeeper, and Jesus saying that all those who broke in before me, the thief that went over the wall, came to steal, but the sheep didn't listen to them. I am that gateway. To enter through me is to experience life, freedom, and satisfaction. And then imagine the sheep out in the field, free, life, freedom, and satisfaction, a wide open space. Imagine that if that thief had gotten those sheep, he would have slaughtered them and destroyed them. But this shepherd is a good and true shepherd, and he wants to give them everything in abundance, more than they expect, life in its fullness. Imagine this good shepherd with them day in and day out within the field. He would do anything for them. Hired workers would just leave them to their own devices so they could go home and sleep at night. But this good shepherd is with his sheep. Even when a wolf comes, the people that are hired, imagine a wolf creeping up on the sheep, and the good shepherd defends them, the sheep, against the wolf. So look back and put yourself in the scene with Jesus. The Pharisees are there, they're perplexed, they still don't understand what he's talking about. But see him look at you and say, I alone am the good shepherd, and I know whose hearts are mine, for they recognize me and know me, just as my Father knows my heart and I know my Father's heart. I am ready to give up my life for the sheep. And he looks at you directly. How does that make you feel? And then he he looks out at the crowd and says, I have other sheep that I will gather which are not of this Jewish flock. Imagine the reaction of the Pharisees to that. Look at them. What do they look like? How do you feel about other sheep besides the Jews? And Jesus says, I, their shepherd, must lead them too, and they will follow me and listen to my voice. And I will join them all into one flock with one shepherd. Imagine a flock of sheep far, far away, and the good shepherd with his flock. But yet he calls to that flock far, far away, and they come to him because they hear his voice. Imagine them coming. His voice travels to far distances. And then imagine that the far off sheep combining into one flock with the flock that we've been talking about in this imaginative contemplation. And then hear Jesus again say, the Father has an intense love for me because I freely give my own life to raise it up again. I surrender my own life, and no one has the power to take my life from me. I have the authority to lay it down and the power to take it back up again. This is the destiny my Father has set before me. So just sit with that, imagining him looking at you, saying those things to you, and have a conversation with God about him leading you as a good shepherd, the far off flock coming so that they're one, the thief who comes in, the wolf who comes in. Just keep on mulling over all those pictures and then have a conversation with God. Be blessed.